少林白鹤简史。
In order to understand the Chinese southern white crane, you have to understand the entire landscape of a Chinese country. Okay, from here, you first want to try to recognize one thing. Entire Chinese cultures originated from Yellow River. So this Yellow River is the origin or the source of a Chinese culture that started about 7,000 years ago. And the China itself, entire China, is called Central Country. Central Country. The name was given by the neighbors countries. For example, people from Mongolia, Manchuria, Korea, Japan, Okinawa, from Hainan Island, Taiwan, even from Indonesia. There's only one country that isolated from China for almost 5,000 years, is India. The reason for that, because of Himalaya. Himalaya is such a high mountain. In ancient time, it's not possible to cross over or easily cross over. The Indian culture and Chinese culture, they never exchanged until the Chinese Han Dynasty. That's about 2,000 years ago. At that time, through the Silk Road is from this place. Then Chinese silk exported into Italy, into Rome. So since then, the Indian culture also from Persian get into the China. Okay, that's called Silk Road. So from here you can see the Chinese structure here. This is Yellow River and this is Yangtze River. Yangtze River also called Long River because all these rivers originate from these top mountains. Because especially when the snow melted, then all the rivers, the water go to the south, go to the east. From here you can see another structure here. Beijing is over this area. Beijing is the capital, has been the capital for many Chinese dynasties. Because this reason, you can see the Great Wall, it built across this area. The Great Wall is so long, it covers almost 2/3 of China on the north. The reason for Great Wall was there to prevent Mongolia and Manchuria's invasions. Okay, so this will give you an idea already. From here, usually Chinese martial art can be divided from the Yellow River. On the north of Yellow River, you can see the land is dry. There's not too much raining at that time at this area. It's not only that, for example, in Mongolia, this old desert here. On the south, you can see there's two big rivers. From these two big rivers, a lot of small rivers branch out and a lot of lake existing. So that means there's a lot of water in this area. So a lot of water here. So that's why the major food is really rice, because rice grows in the water. On the north, they majorly grow the wheat. Because the reason they become a different diet on the northern Chinese and southern Chinese. But according to today's scientific report, we know if you eat more wheat, you tend to grow taller. If you eat more rice, you tend to grow shorter. It's not only that, if you eat more rice, that means you generate more sugar because of glucose. The sugar content of rice is much higher than the wheat. So because of the reason southern Chinese people, well known, the teeth have more problem. But if you are the northern people, you're taller, you have a long leg. That means you take advantage. You try to use your long leg to fight. So because the reason the northern Chinese people like to use a leg to fight. So Chinese always say, 南拳北腿. 南拳, that means southern fist. 北腿is a northern leg. It's very common, very well known, because northern Chinese like to use all the kickings. So when this kicking passed to Korea and passed to Japan, become the foundation of a Tang Soo Do, Taekwondo, and Japanese karate as well. But you should understand, karate originated from Okinawa, but Okinawa karate originated from Fujian White Crane. But when this one passed to Japan, and Japanese, they mix with the northern style for kicking. So today you can see how much of a kicking in the karate training. But at the same time, you can see the hands, a lot of the hand trick techniques come from the White Crane. Okay. But the southern people, because this place, you understand, a lot of water, and the more crowded because they grow a lot of food here. So the Chinese, it's very crowded in this area. And not only that, because a lot of time you fight on the boat. You found a boat, that means the area is limited. So it doesn't allow you to have a big space for you to kick, to jump. In addition to that, because the boat, in ancient time, the boat is small. It's not like today have a big ship. But the boat, all of them made by the wood. If made by wood, that means when they get wet, it's slippery. So when it's slippery, it doesn't allow you to have a high kick or jump high. The most important thing, you try to prevent yourself from falling. From falling, that means the leg has to be firm. You have to be able to fix your root stationary. In order to do that, that means the waist has to be soft. If once the waist is tense, then you fall as well. If the waist is loose, then it can be solid on the ground. Because the reason this is Southern style also emphasize a lot of wrestling and the chin-up. Because in this kind of small area, a lot of time we tangle with each other. We tangle with each other, they have to know the technique how to take enemy down. But now you tangle each other, that means hold each other. Once you hold each other, then chin-up can be applied easily. Because the reason the Southern style, they emphasize, almost all Southern style emphasize wrestling and the kicking and the chin-up. Northern style, they like kicking and punch. Okay, but remember, do not misunderstand. It does not mean the Northern style don't have a chin-up and wrestling as well. They do. But it's a different way of approach. But this side, yes, they emphasize more. For example, Mongolian, they are very well known in the wrestling. Mongolian strike out is one of the most well known. You should understand that's why China has been conquered by Mongolia about 800 years ago. It's because the Mongolian strike out is so good. Yeah. Okay, but when you talk about here, this is a Southern style. You look at where is the Shaolin Temple. This is a Yellow River. Shaolin Temple is over this area in Henan. Actually, in the middle. So because the reason Shaolin Temple in the Shaolin, they have a Shaolin Northern style, a Shaolin Southern style. Because Northern style, because this is easy to use for the Northern, and it also can be adapted into Southern. Okay, that's why Shaolin becomes so famous. But look about original White Queen. Original White Queen, of course, start from Shaolin. People always ask me when the White Queen started. Some people say it started about 300-400 years ago. But eventually that's not true. If you try to trace back to Shaolin history, you can trace back about 900 AD at that time. The Shaolin already have called 5 animal pattern. 5 forms includes dragon, snake, leopard, tiger, and crane. Okay, so crane is one of the major style trained at that time already. It's what I know from my documents. I realized this white crane later was passed to Tibet. Because according to my information, my document there's a monk called Xinglong. If you write Chinese, maybe some of you can trace back to history. Xinglong. This Xinglong monk was sent by the Shaolin Temple to Tibet to study Buddhism. Eventually, Xinglong is very good. He's expert in the White Queen. He passed on the White Queen style to Tibet. That's why today, Tibet have a northern White Queen style. It's commonly called Lama. Yeah. So we heard about Lama. You can see inside a lot of White Queens. But at the same time, it's a long-range fighting. They use a lot of kicking as well. And Southern White Queen is special from Qing dynasty. You understand, Qing dynasty is come from Manchuria. Manchurian, they conquered China about 400 years ago. They crossed the Great Wall and then conquered China. They ruled China about 400. The first thing when they enter China, the first thing they have a capital here, they destroy Shaolin. When the Shaolin was destroyed, a lot of monks, they become the layman people. They just moved to the south. They hid themselves in the society and continue against the Qing dynasty. So they become a very important part of the Shaolin history in the last 300-400 years. So when a lot of monks moved to the south, slowly the style originally they created in the Shaolin, they had to be able to fight on the south. Because the reason a lot of style have been modified. For example, White Queen, when they moved to the south, they have been modified into Southern White Queen. After 300-400 years, now there are probably 4 best well-known White Queen Southern style. These are 4 White Queen style. The first one, Peking. Peking use the beak of the crane. They use this one to attack a lot. Because this one is a special characteristics of the style. So that's why I call Peking crane. Sometimes in China called eating crane. This style in Taiwan is very popular. You go to the southern side of Taiwan, this is very popular. Simply because there's a master about a couple hundred years ago. He went to Taiwan, but he settled down in the south. Since then, he passed down this crane style to the south. The second one is called sleeping crane. Actually, the sleeping crane is called ancestor crane. Ancestor crane, because the reason for that, because this is the major one. Sleeping, that means use defense as offense. The white crane is a weak animal. It's not really strong like a tiger, so they don't attack. They wait for a chance. When you wait for a chance, that means use calmness as a major key. So when you are in calm, like you are sleeping, then you wait for the opportunity, then use for attack. So white crane is you use a defense as offense. It's not use offense as a defense. Okay, so this white crane, the basic theory is also called ancestor crane because this is the very beginning one, the basic principle, also called trembling crane. Trembling crane called 战鹤, that's because the white crane uses a lot of waste to generate power. See, white crane is different from other style. Because remember, you fight on the boat. When you fight on the boat, it cannot allow you to initiate the power from the leg. Because there's no root for your leg to initiate the power. Once you push it, you slide, then you fall. Because the reason, the most important, try to maintain your stability, your root. And in this case, you can use the waste to generate the power and manifest the power. So, because the reason white crane also called trembling crane, the power initiated from the waist and manifest in the fingers and directed by the waist as well. That's different from Tai Chi. The Tai Chi, they say, the movements or the power initiated from the leg, directed by waist and manifest in fingers. So it's a different concept. Even in the northern style, the long fist, the same thing. The power generated from the leg and then directed by waist and punch, manifest in fingers. Then the next one is called jumping crane. Because the crane, they fly. So also this one also called flying crane. They got from one place to another place very fast, they jump around. That means this style you need a strong leg. Next one, shouting crane. This one is, among those four styles, this one is most towards internal. They're talking about the chi a lot. How to use your mind to lead the chi and to protect, preserve your essence of the body. So this one is more internal. But you should understand, even there are four major styles, it does not mean they divided so clearly. It's not. That means shouting crane, they also have a jumping. They also use a sleeping. They use a packing as well. See, it divides into four, but eventually a lot of them, they share the same technique. You should understand that concept. Okay. So the white crane style I know is actually only this one. I'm not quite familiar with this one. I'm quite familiar with not this one. I'm not expert in that. But at the same time, this one, we also use this. We also use that. We also use that.